The president also making a push for big-name Texas Republicans ahead of next week's primary election. He tweeted this out, encouraging Texans to vote for Governor Greg Abbott, Senator Ted Cruz, Lieutenant Governor Dan Perchick, and Attorney General Ken Paxton. That interest in voting seen at the polls where local counties are reporting increased voter turnout. The Night Beat's Michael Perchick has been following this story. He joins us now live with more. Michael?
Mike, last week we profiled Texas's voting history, which consistently ranks near the bottom of the country. Now, while this is a very small sample size, there is hope that early voting totals could be a signal that things could change when it comes to coming to the polls.
Progress at the polls. Texans turning out to cast their primary ballot.
There's a new attitude about voting that I very much appreciate. Voting is kind of hot.
Travis County Clerk Dana DeBeauvoir is encouraged by the early voting numbers and registration in Travis County. Compared to the last gubernatorial primary in 2014, voter registration in Travis County has increased by nearly 112,000 people. In addition, early voting rates have also jumped. In the first 7 days of early voting in 2014, about 3.13% of voters turned out. During the same time period this cycle, about 5.16% of voters have cast ballots.
We were hopeful for a high turnout. We were hoping for 20%, and it looks like we may very well beat that, so that's certainly exciting.
Outside of this voting location in North Austin, voters shared why they turned out.
I think it's important for people to vote in this state. We have a very low voter turnout in both parties.
You have to vote on the things that you believe are correct for the country.
For a state that struggled historically with voter apathy, the last time more than 50% of Texans voted in a presidential election was 1900. DeBeauvoir is hopeful that early totals could signal a shift.
You know, used to be people would say, what difference does it make? It's just my vote and it's not going to count. Oh, no. Overwhelming numbers can overwhelm anything.
Neighboring Williamson County has seen similarly strong turnout. Through 7 days in the 2014 cycle, about 3.54% of voters showed up. In the same time period this cycle, that number has spiked to 5.84%.
While percentages were not immediately available for Hays County, the overall numbers also show a major jump as well. Through the first week of early voting this cycle, more than 5,000 ballots have been cast. Back in 2014, that number just over 2,100 ballots. Now, early voting still continues through Friday, so you have plenty of time. And of course, Election Day coming up Tuesday, March 6th. Live in North Austin, I'm Michael Perchick, KVUE News Night Beat.